Hello again. This is Mark Sawicki, co-author with Junico Moody on our new book, Virtual Production Essential Elements on a Budget. I wanted to give you a bare bones listing of the physical tools you'll need to prepare, plan, and shoot good elements to composite live actors into virtual sets using a traditional low-tech method. You'll need a camera, a good camera card to record on, a tape measure, an angle finder, a green screen, and some lights. On the digital side, a good robust computer that can handle the Unreal game engine, along with After Effects to make the composite, and Premiere to edit your movie together. There are an enormous number of choices when selecting a camera, and it drives many people to distraction. Artistic people who aren't into cinematography often resort to the old adage, "What camera did you use?" That's not a bad response and works well most of the time. Here is my personal camera that I use. Keep in mind that all my choices are not being sponsored by anyone. They're just my personal opinion and selection. I use a Sony a6400, and I also own a Canon camera. I prefer the ease of use of my Canon, but I bought the Sony for its image quality and price point. It shoots a number of frame rates, can shoot 4K, has a fairly big sensor size for cinematic imagery, has a zoom lens that is nice but cumbersome to use with old school data gathering. Professional zoom lenses have physical markings, so they are very clear as to what focal length you are using, as well as focus point and f-stop. Prosumer cameras like this Sony have all the info in an electronic form and have automatic functions that make it a bit harder to document, especially when the camera shuts down to save power. The most important feature for me on this camera was its recording format of XAVCS that records enough data to record good color for green screen elements. So what is good color? Good color for green screen is a color subsampling of 422. When an image is captured with a digital camera, it begins as a constantly varying analog signal that is then digitized at a certain rate of speed. The first number 4 represents the brightness data of the image and is sampled at 4 million times a second because the human eye is most sensitive to subtle changes in brightness value. The other 2 numbers represent color sampling that is done at 2 million times a second because we are less discerning with color to our eye. For green screen compositing, 422 will result in a good composite. 444 would be the best, but at an exorbitant price point for capture. 411 would be very poor for color and generate a lot of aliasing around the edges of the composited figure. So always check the specs and look for 422 when choosing a camera's output format. You will also need a fast camera card to handle all of that image data. The important number to look for is the number 3 inside the U icon that indicates that this is a fast card. The camera will alert you if you are using the incorrect card when shooting XAVCS. Next will be measuring tape. For most interior sets, 50 feet would be fine for measuring subject distance. You might consider getting a metric tape measure, as the Unreal game engine measures everything in meters. Unreal settings are full size with full size measurements. The advantage of using a metric tape measure is that you don't have to convert feet to meters, which can lead to errors and mistakes in perspective when compositing. Next is the inclinometer, or angle finder, critical in finding how many degrees a camera is looking up or down. You can use a mechanical finder on the left, or just obtain a free angle finder app for your phone. Both will do nicely. The green background. The industry standard is the paint and fabric supplied by digitalgreenscreen.com. It has been my go-to material for years during my career. Using this material, one can pull excellent mattes when outside, when both the subject and the screen are lit by the sun. Other screens can be found on Amazon that work well, that are fabric that come with 2 supports, to allow one to make a small coved screen in a living space. During my time in the industry, we used the excellent Mole Richardson products. They are the industry standard for Fresnel lights, soft lights, and LED fixtures. For someone just starting out, I recommend the Newar company that supplies many kinds of lights and grip equipment at a reasonable price. If you get a lighting package, I would get 3 LED flat soft lights and at least one LED hard light to cast distinct shadows to create cinematic lighting. Not everything needs to be lit with flat lighting. So that is the basic list of what you need to prepare, document, and shoot proper green screen elements that will composite perfectly in your Unreal sets. As this series continues, I will share my step-by-step procedure in making my short film, Subway.